and I'm enjoying it very much. And with pleasure, I'm looking forward to our table topics this evening. Our friend Esther Song, who is fairly new with our club, is going to be our table topics person tonight and table topics master. And without further ado, I'd like to have you help me welcome Esther Song as our topics master.
Mr. Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Are you ready?
Yes!
So, table topics is the most exciting and challenging part of Toastmaster. It's testing your impromptu skills and ability to think on your feet. It also gives those who do not have a speaking role during the meeting to speak. You have 1 to 2 minutes to talk, but tonight we have only 1 minute for each speaker. And everybody is encouraged to use the word of the day today, resilience. The theme of today's meeting theme is how to build a speech in 15 minutes, and we are sales and marketing club. So all the topics is based on these two things. Who is gonna be the first volunteer?
An exact.
Zach's dying.
Tell us a situation you attended recently where you were called upon to speak, for example, wedding ceremony or a party. 1 minute.
Okay. Fellow table topics master, Madam Table Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guest. There was one situation I have been called upon to speak. There was recently a town hall was there. My colleague HR always knows about this. Just 30 minutes before the meeting, the vice president of the company calls us, you are going to do a presentation for 15 minutes. I said, asked what? In front of 300 people? And I had to prepare. That was the most embarrassing moment, and I was so much afraid, scared. But what happened is, in the whole event for 4 hours, our speech was the best one. Everybody liked it. They enjoyed it. It turned out in the opposite way. Sometime you may be afraid, just try one more time. It may work out. Thank you, Madam Table.
So who is gonna be the second volunteer?
Don't just go from both sides.
Suppose you are a salesperson in a retail store. One day a customer with very bad mood come in. How would you serve this customer? Like if you say, what can I help you? She said, if I have questions, if I need your help, I will come to ask you. If you don't talk to her and she will say, is there anybody serve me now? So how do you deal with this kind of customer?
Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. I was thinking about it because part of my experience, I worked as the manager of one of the fancy restaurants back home. And they've been teaching us how to serve customers on the highest level. And that kind of customers, they tried everything, they've been everywhere, and every time they come to our place, they look at you and they expect you to do something outstanding. They say, well, you gotta amuse me, you gotta surprise me. I've seen that all, but still, surprise me. And that kind of service usually means you shadowing people. They're not supposed to see you, but when they need you, they stretch their hand, they need something, you gotta know what exactly they need. That kind of service you gotta learn. On the other hand, personally, I don't appreciate that kind of service. When I need something, I ask the question. When I don't need anything, I don't want anybody following me and saying, oh, you should have looked at this. You should have tried this. Oh, this color looked good on you. I start getting really annoyed, and I probably would be that kind of customer myself. Say, I don't need your help. Just leave me alone. I don't know. It depends on time of the day, probably. If I'm tired, I just leave this person alone.